Most of my early 20s, I was stuck at 20-25% body fat. And the part that pissed me off the most is that I was not lazy and I wasn't inconsistent. I was still showing up in the gym 5, sometimes 6, 7 days a week. So obviously I had something wrong and something was clearly missing. But once I finally changed a few key things, that fat came off very quickly. Today I sit around 10 to 12% body fat and I maintain a lean aesthetic physique pretty much all year round. So if you're stuck at a high body fat percentage and you're showing up in the gym and training and you're looking to get to 10-12% body fat with visible abs so that you can be more confident and feel like the best version of yourself, and you want to build an attractive lean physique that people will respect, pay attention because I'm about to break down exactly how you can do that. So watch this all the way through to the end. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 things that I changed that finally allowed me to go from 25 to 20% body fat, feeling stuck and just not happy with myself, down to 10-12% body fat very, very quickly. The first point I want to make is that muscle is going to be your primary fat burning tool. Fat loss is not about doing more cardio or training more and burning more calories. It's about building a body that burns fat at a rested state. Building muscle drastically improves your metabolism and your body's ability to burn more calories so that you burn more fat. The more muscle you build, the less fat retention you're going to have. Fat loss becomes way easier the more muscular and lean that you get. Think of your muscle as passive income, right? The more muscle you build, the more fat you're burning when you're just sitting on your ass resting like I am right now. Whereas cardio and training, that's like your active income. That's like your 9-to-5 job. And obviously you want to maximize as much muscle as you can build so that you're burning fat with doing less. First things first, you want to be training 4 days a week and nothing more. If you're in the gym 5-6 days a week right now, you're doing too much volume and you're actually hurting your body's ability to burn fat and you're hindering your gains. Training 4 days a week is not just optimal for fat loss and muscle gain, but it's very flexible. So if you're a busy guy working 50 to 60 hours, this allows you to be flexible with that schedule. So let's say you schedule a workout for Monday and a business meeting comes up and you can't make it, you could still move that workout to Tuesday and complete your 4-day structure within a 7-day time span with ease. This way, if you miss a day, it doesn't derail your progress and you're not beating yourself up about it. It just becomes a lot easier to stay consistent. As far as your training sessions, you shouldn't train more than 45 minutes. If you're intentional about your time in the gym and you're training with a 6 to 8 rep range, you can go in the gym and knock out an insane workout in no longer than 45 minutes so that you're not spending all day in the gym, but you're maximizing your muscle gain. So like I said, when you're in the gym, focus on 6 to 8 rep ranges and focus on compound lifts, things like bench press, things like squats. Compound lifts hit more than one muscle group, so you're getting more bang for your buck, right? When you're intentional, you don't have to do as much volume like I just said. Now, when you're training for 6 to 8 reps, you want to train till failure, meaning that you're going until your form compromises. Failure is not dropping the weight on your head and hurting yourself. If you get injured, you're out of the game. So for example, let's say you're doing bench press, you're able to rep out, 4 or 5 reps clean, right? But then all of a sudden on that 6th rep, you start tweaking your shoulders, your back's coming off the bench. Now you're at risk for injury, and that's what I mean when I say failure. Now you also want to train progressive overload, meaning every single week you're trying to beat yourself from the week before. So it's very important that you track your lifts, right? Because for me, I don't even remember what I ate for dinner last week, let alone how many reps and sets did I complete on bench press. When you track your lifts, you're able to go in there and say, okay, I did 135 for 6 reps. Today, I want to try and get 140 for 6 reps. Now let's say you go in there and you only get 140 for 5, you will keep hitting 140 every single week until eventually you get it for 6. And once you master it at 6, now you know you're ready to increase the weight again. And this is progressive overload. This allows you to ensure that you're building muscle constantly and improving your strength. From a nutritional standpoint, in order to ensure that you're building muscle, protein is going to be the most important macronutrient for this. So you want to make sure you're getting at least a gram of protein per pound of body weight to ensure that your body has enough protein to build new muscle, but also retain any muscle that you currently have while your body is only stripping off the fat. Protein is also going to help keep you satiated so that you're not fucking starving throughout the day and it's very easy to eat less calories. Now there's some serious limitations you currently have about what fat loss actually is and what muscle gain actually is that's actually holding you back right now. So let's dive into those. First off, more days, more volume is not going to get you the results. So get that out of your mind now. Stop training 5 to 6 days a week, only train 4. The main thing that's going to help you build muscle is recovery, right? Prioritizing rest. When you're in the gym, you are tearing your muscle fibers, and the way muscle growth actually happens is in the recovery process. When those muscle fibers grow back, they grow back bigger. So if you're not getting adequate amount of rest, and recovery, you're never gonna build muscle and you're never gonna burn fat. And if you think time is your issue, I'm telling you, switch to 4 days a week. Go 6 to 8 reps so that you're only in the gym 45 minutes a time. That is very, very sustainable and easy to manage with a busy work schedule. And if you're afraid of getting too bulky, listen, bro, I've been trying to get too bulky for 10 years. It's fucking ridiculous that you think you're gonna get too bulky. You know how hard that is to actually do? The more muscle you build, the more lean and aesthetic you're going to get. So don't worry about getting too bulky, bro. It's not gonna happen. So the main takeaways here are that muscle burns fat. So focus on building muscle and focus on getting recovery, because recovery is what actually builds the muscle. And if you're overtraining, you're just slowing down your progress and your body's hanging on to more fat than it would if you just chilled the fuck out and you were more intentional about your time. My next point is that cardio is not it, bro. Now that you know that muscle is the main thing for fat loss, I want you to understand that cardio is not it, bro. Cardio is not the primary strategy for fat loss. If you're doing a bunch of cardio, you gotta stop that shit immediately. The reason cardio is so bad for burning fat and building muscle is because it's high stress on the body, meaning that it's going to interfere with your recovery. And as we just established, recovery is what actually builds the muscle. Doing a lot of cardio is going to spike your cortisol, and the higher your cortisol stress levels are, the harder it is for your body to recover and regrow the muscle, which burns the fat. What you should do instead is walking. Just walk 10 to 15K steps per day. Walking is very low intensity. It's not going to interfere with your recovery. It's also very good for insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity is your body's essentially metabolism, right? Your body's ability to burn fat, your body's ability to process macronutrients, so that when you're eating, your body's distributing your protein into muscle as opposed to fat. So the higher your insulin sensitivity is, the better your body's going to do of distributing the macronutrients so that you build muscle primarily over building fat, right? Focus on your lifts and your workouts over cardio. Do not worry about doing cardio at all. Another reason cardio sucks is because it's not sustainable, brother. Like, you don't want to be on a treadmill fucking an hour a day, right? Nobody wants to do that shit. And if you're doing something you hate, it's impossible for you to sustain that long term, right? So if you want to stay consistent, you can't be burning yourself out with a fuck ton of cardio. It's not realistic. A lot of people think that they lack discipline. I just need to be more disciplined. No, you just need a routine that you love. Like, you fucking hate your routine. Of course you can't stay disciplined. Nobody's gonna stay disciplined if something they hate. For example, if you were dating a girl, but she had a bunch of red flags, but she was super hot, you could probably date her for a little bit, but eventually those red flags would override the fact that she's hot, and you two would break up. It would never last. And your fucking diet, your training, your approach has to be the same way. The more enjoyable your routine is, the easier it's gonna be to stay consistent, and the better results you're gonna have. You're not gonna need motivation or discipline. So in summary, just stop thinking that cardio is gonna help you lose fat. It might temporarily, but we gotta think long-term. And the more you love your routine, the easier this is gonna be. If you don't enjoy what you do, you'll never stay consistent, and consistency is everything, right? It needs to compound for you to build muscle. Point 3, you need a specific, clear, tangible goal. You can't say, I just wanna lose more fat, I just want to build more muscle, because you're never going to get results doing that. It's like if you were going to plan a trip to Mexico and you were going to drive there. You wouldn't just get in the car and start driving, right? You would end up getting lost. You would have no idea where you're going. You would plan, where in Mexico are you going to go? Where are your rest stops going to be? Where are you going to stop for gas, right? You need a roadmap to get you to where you want to go, and you can't build that roadmap unless you know where you're going. So be specific. Like, hey, I want to be 10% body fat. I want to have visible abs, veins. I want a broader chest. I want bigger shoulders. Be specific. The more specific you can get, the easier it's going to be for you to have success. It's so much easier for you to show up, and there's so much less resistance when you have clarity, right? A lot of reasons that guys are not able to stay consistent is because they don't know what their next move should be, because they don't have goals. So decide exactly how you want to look physically and then work backwards from the goal. You need to presume the identity of the man that already has those goals. You don't say, I'll be disciplined once I get abs. You think, okay, what would a guy with 10% body fat, broad shoulders, and abs do? He would eat this way. He would train this way. Start entering the mindset of that man before you become that man, and then it becomes inevitable. Build your routines based off that identity, right? I'm assuming you don't just want the body, you want success in business, you want successful relationships. So build routines that help you sustain everything else you want to build in your life. The reason goals are so important is because what works for me might not work for you, because we have different goals, which means my approach is going to be different than your approach. But when you know what you want, it's easier to build routines around that. So if you feel stuck and you just feel overwhelmed with everything and you don't know where to start, it's always best that you start with inputs. For example, did I get my 10,000 steps today? Did I get 8 hours of rest? Did I hit my protein goals? Just focus on what you have to do on a day-to-day basis and the results will come from that. When you focus on the goal, you feel a lot further from the goal. So only focus on the day-to-day inputs. You will not have clarity until you take action. And what action do I take, Devin? You take action on the daily inputs, and that's it, which brings me to my next point. You need to have a sustainable routine, and you need to have an input-based thinking mindset. Stop looking at fitness as a race to get to 10% body fat, because I'm assuming you don't just want to get there and have it for a couple weeks and then lose it, right? Odds are you've got lean before, you've been in better shape before, but you're not now because you never had a sustainable routine. You want to build a lifestyle that allows you to sustain that forever. So stop looking at fitness like some sort of sprint and start thinking long term. The more sustainable you can make your routine, the easier it's going to be for you to hit the inputs, and the better you get at hitting the inputs, the faster you will get the results. That's why 4 days a week not only is the most optimal, it's most sustainable. 45-minute workouts, not spending all day in the gym, that is sustainable. Walking outdoors or spending $50 on getting a walking pad so you can get your steps inside is sustainable over spending hours on a treadmill. The more simple you can keep your routines and the more simple you can be about your approach, the better results you're gonna get. The more you overcomplicate it, the more anxiety, the more overwhelmed you're gonna feel, and the harder it's gonna be for you to make progress and get results. You're just gonna fall off or burn yourself out. So stop obsessing over the outcome, man. When I was so worried about my goals, all I can think about was how far I was from the goals, and there was so many things about my life that I had to fix that it made me feel overwhelmed and anxious. And the more overwhelmed and anxious you feel, the less likely you are to take any action at all. So just hit the gym 4 days a week, get 10 to 15K steps, get good sleep and recovery, sleep 8 hours a night. Keep it easy and simple. Get a gram of protein per pound of body weight. Like, it's not that hard. Inputs are what actually makes progress inevitable. As long as you're doing the things you got to do every day, it's impossible for you to not make progress. No matter what happens, let's say you fuck up and you overeat for a day or you miss a workout, do not beat yourself up over that, because dwelling on the past does nothing for you except increase the anxiety and overwhelm. The only thing you could focus on is the moment that you're in right now and the time you have right in front of your face. So always just try and control the controllables and do the best that you can in this exact moment, and think, what input is in my control right now, and simply just do that. And it's gonna make your life a lot fucking easier. And if you're an even higher percent body fat, you might think, man, I'll never get that lean. It's too far away. Brother, stop focusing on the goal. You can do anything. As long as you hit the consistent inputs, it's impossible for you not to make progress. You can make a crazy transformation. I did myself, bro. You just have to get rid of this limitation and start only focusing on the day-to-day. Your mindset should be, how many days can I stack in a row of just hitting consistent inputs? So win the day, then you win the week, then you win the month, then you win the year, then you win your life. Just focus on today only. And my final point, your diet must be enjoyable and it must be sustainable. If you do not love your diet, how the fuck are you gonna stick to it long term? The most simple diet for you to follow is 90% whole foods, but not just any whole foods that you genuinely enjoy. For example, proteins. Maybe you like beef, maybe you like chicken, maybe you like fish, maybe you like, healthy dairy. Find which whole foods you like and create a repeatable routine around those whole foods so that you're getting the most optimal results. You're replenishing your body with the nutrients, because a big part of recovery is your diet. Try and make your routine simple and repeatable, and then you can stick to it. It's not that hard. And leave the other 10% open for whatever the fuck you want, whether it's dessert, whether it's sweets. You can enjoy your fucking diet as long as the base is whole food. And you could still eat cheat meals 1 to twice a week. You could still drink alcohol with the boys. Like, you could do this shit. You could still eat out at restaurants. You just need a structure. And I have other videos on that specifically, which you can check out if you're interested on how to do that. But what you should not do is crash diets, ketogenic diet, carnivore diet, because these diets are not diets you can fall in love with, and brother, you're not going to stick to these diets. Do not create a diet that you can't see yourself sticking to long term. So don't try and be super strict, bro, because if you're super strict, you're just gonna burn yourself out and end up reverting back to where you were and having to start over all over again. And cheat meals and enjoying your life is not gonna ruin your progress. You just need to structure around that, bro. Like, you have to actually plan for enjoying yourself, otherwise you're gonna burn out. As you can see with everything I've laid out, what you're really creating is an identity shift. You're creating a meal structure that becomes part of who you are, a training routine who becomes part of who you are, and you're starting to assume the role of the version of you who has the abs and the body and the life that you want. So what you really need is an identity shift. It's less about the tangibles, the workouts, the nutrition and training. It's more about internally what's going on in your mindset, understanding I need to build something I could stick to so that it becomes part of who I am. And when you do this, you will get 10% body fat, bro. You will have shredded abs. Your confidence will be fantastic. You will be the version of yourself you always had visions of being. You just have to trust the process, focus on the day-to-day, and focus on your identity, man. Start to see yourself as this guy. Talk positively to yourself, and you will see change in your physique like you've never seen before. And the better job you do building your body, you will use that as a vehicle to build confidence and trust in yourself, which will then build confidence and trust in business. People will respect you more. You'll make more money. You'll have more energy. Your relationships will improve because you'll be happier and more confident with yourself. People will notice when they look at your physique, it's something you can't fake. They'll say, man, this guy's disciplined. He puts in work. It will say a lot about your character, and you will start to level up as a man in every other area of life. So if this video was helpful, go ahead and drop a like on the video and subscribe to my channel, and go through my channel and sift through my other videos. I have videos on how to eat out at restaurants, how to eat cheat meals, all these things. And if you want to build a sustainable lifestyle long term, definitely subscribe to my shit, man. But hope this was helpful. Peace out.